Markets could see another volatile week as investors remain anxious about the fiscal cliff and watch escalating tensions in the Middle East. Federal Chairman Ben Bernanke speaks Tuesday. There is housing data Monday and Tuesday, and jobless claims and consumer sentiment Wednesday, ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday Thursday. The week ends with a shortened trading day on Black Friday, the traditional start to the holiday shopping season. Stocks mostly sold off in the past week, but closed higher Friday after congressional leaders made encouraging comments about negotiations on a fiscal cliff. Read more. Stocks end higher. The cliff is the expiration of taxes and other programs, and the start of automatic spending cuts that could deal the $500 billion blow to the economy, if Congress does not act. Read more. Congressional leaders optimistic on avoiding fiscal cliff. The Dow.DJI 12,588.31 45.93 plus 0.37% was off 1.8% at 12,588 for the week, and the S&P 500.STX 1,359.886.55 plus 0.48% was down 1.5% to 1359. "I think we waffle now until there's some generalized agreement," said James Paulson, chief investment strategist at Wells Capital Management. "The problem we're going to have here is Sandy data is going to be so bad. How do you interpret it? I think the combo is going to keep it hard to sustain much of a rally in stocks. But I don't know how much we go down. Right now we've got almost an equal trade. It's almost as much risk being in as being out." Oil gained nearly 1% Friday, as Israel began mobilizing tens of thousands of soldiers and increased its air campaign on the Gaza. Meanwhile, militants there sent rockets deeper into Israel, while Egypt's new government voiced its support for Hamas, raising concerns of a broader conflict. Brent crude, the international benchmark, rose to $108.95 a barrel. Treasury yields fell as investors sought safety in bonds. The 10-year yield was 1.57% Friday, its lowest closing yield since August 31. Other stocks. Stocks are down about 5% since Election Day, on concerns President Barack Obama and the divided Congress will not be able to reach an agreement on spending cuts or on tax hikes. Republican leaders Friday again said that revenues could be part of the deal, and leaders from both sides made it clear they were willing to compromise. Thomas Lee, J.P. Morgan chief equity strategist, said he thinks investors are taking capital gains before an anticipated hike in capital gains tax rates next year. But the question is, when do they reinvest? "I think capitulation is taking place because people really had a Romney bet on. We've had 10 days to examine market reaction. I think we're probably 2 weeks away from the low," he said. Bearish sentiment spiked to 48.8% in the past week, to its highest level since August 2011. According to the latest AAII sentiment survey. According to AAII, bullish sentiment expectations the stock market will rise over the next 6 months fell to 28.8%. Lee said when sentiment turns so negative, it often signals the approach of a bottom. Economic data, including a very negative Philadelphia Federal survey, weekly jobless claims and industrial production, all took a hit in the past week from Superstorm Sandy's impact on the East Coast. RBS economist Michelle Gerard said she does not expect this week's housing data to show that much impact from the storm, but data will continue to be murky because of it. "The turnaround in housing had people feeling better about things, and now I think there's a worry back," she said. The Northeast has accounted for less than 12% of total housing starts in each of the last 6 months, she said. Starts are reported on Tuesday. "We're still thinking it's going to be an okay holiday season," she said. "We will see softer holiday sales because of a shift in wallet share, where people have to pay for repairs. Home Depot is a big gainer, but all the apparel guys are going lower. At the low end, in particular, you had all these hourly workers that lost work for a week and they're never going to get it back." Holiday sales are expected to increase 4.1%, compared to a 5.6% increase last year, according to the National Retail Federation. More retailers plan to open Thanksgiving night to get a jump on Black Friday sales. Gerard said she will be watching Federal Chairman Ben Bernanke's comments for any discussion Tuesday of what the Federal might do when its Operation Twist ends in December. "Our view and the consensus view is they continue," she said. In the minutes of its last meeting, released this past week, the Federal noted that some members favored continuing asset purchases. Operation Twist involves the purchase of longer-dated treasuries and the sale of the same amount of shorter-dated securities. Economists expect the Federal to continue the purchases but not sales. The Federal also is conducting the mortgage purchase program, in a third round of quantitative easing. Bernanke, who speaks Tuesday at the Economics Club of New York, could also elaborate more on the Fed's effort to change its communications policy. The Federal has been discussing more definitively connecting its interest rate policy to specific levels for unemployment and inflation. We're not expecting much out of the Federal in December. The Federal, like the markets, like us, they're waiting to see what happens with the fiscal cliff. The data with Sandy and the fiscal cliff are almost meaningless. The data are going to be distorted, she said. What to watch? Monday. Earnings. Lowe's low 31.98, 0.579 plus 1.84%. Tyson Foods TSN 16.88, 0.12 plus 0.72%. Agilenta 35.81, 0.06 plus 0.17%. Brocade BRC 5.26, negative 0.08, negative 1.5%. Urban Outfitters URBN 35.05, 0.23 plus 0.66%. 1,000 AM existing home sales. 1,000 AM NAHB survey. Tuesday. Earnings. Hewlett-Packard HP 49.9 to 1.07 plus 2.19%. Best Buy PBE 13.75 negative 1.50 negative 9.84%. Campbell Soup CPB 36.6 for 0.39 plus 1.08%. Chico's FOS CHF 18.0 to 0.40 plus 2.27%. Hormel HR 30.87 0.26 plus 0.85%. Medtronic MD 41.10 0.23 plus 0.56%. DSW 59.15 0.76 plus 1.3%. Salesforce.com CRM 144.30 3.57 plus 2.54%. 0830 M housing starts. 0900 M Richmond Federal President Jeffrey Lacker speaks. 12:15 p.m. Federal Chairman Ben Bernanke speaks at Economic Club of New York. Wednesday. Earnings. Deere D85.25 negative 0.14 negative 0.16%. Donaldson DCI 32.77 0.63 plus 1.96%. 0700 M mortgage applications. 0830 M initial claims. 0850 M PMI manufacturing index flash. 0955 AM consumer sentiment. 1000 AM leading indicators. 1030 AM oil inventories. 1100 AM natural gas inventories. 0100 PM $13 billion 10-year TIPS auction. Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. U.S. markets closed. Friday, 0100 PM closing for stock market.